Hey everybody, thanks for coming back to the channel. And if you've been wondering where to move to North Carolina, stay tuned because we're going to go over the different spots out here in Hickory that you may want to consider moving in the area. So stay tuned and here we go.
All right, guys, so if you're considering a move to Hickory, one place you may want to consider is what's considered downtown Hickory, which is sort of that center nucleus of activity and community and a lot of growth. Businesses, apartments, historic homes.
Yeah, we're all basically,
lots.
It's where all the, I feel like everything in Hickory is happening in downtown. So when there's like events and there's things that are going like around, like you get new notifications, there's news, it's all right here in downtown.
It's like a hub.
It's like the hub. I would say it's more like the central hub of events, family events, music, festivals. I think it's all happening there in downtown.
Yeah, it just lends itself well to that. There's like speakers throughout the streets and it's a lot of walking paths. So it really conducive to an active lifestyle, if that's what you're looking for, very walkable. Our office is in downtown Hickory and we walk everywhere because it's all within, not too many blocks. The walking trail, the city park, the weekly farmers market, which during the summer is Wednesdays and Saturdays. We talk about packed on a Wednesday. The farmers market draws a crowd. It's a very, very active group. So if you're looking for that type of lifestyle where you like to walk your dog, take your kids to the park, walk downtown and get a sushi, be within walking distance of just about anything, I mean, living in downtown Hickory may be a good fit for you.
Yeah, no, I think for a family that's moving and you kind of want to have that more of a downtown, but really
it feels small.
Small,
yeah,
but very like homey, just completely different.
They're old buildings, a lot. So that's kind of the thing about Hickory is it's old and new. So there's like old bank buildings turned into food courts,
which is really neat to see that.
Yeah, like old office buildings and blocks full of these old brick buildings that are very historic, and there's new life in them. And then one block over, there's luxury apartment buildings that's brand new. So there's a lot of growth and a lot of revitalization in downtown Hickory. A lot of community events. You mentioned, I think, Oktoberfest, the Sales Music Series all summer long. They have this like jazz music under the stars, which is really cool. Hickory Hops in April. Just a lot of, there's always something going on in downtown Hickory.
Yeah, it's like, it feels like every month they're doing something, but again, it's just like, if you want that feel, you know what, then here's the bottom line. The nice thing is you don't have to go all over different parts of Hickory. There's a place that's busy on one side of Hickory, and here's another spot they're doing an event, and there's another place that you might be. It's all it's all centralized, and it's really nice to keep in touch with what is happening event-wise month to month because they keep it all there. So you don't have to worry about going to like different parts of town, different parks, different this, different that. When you come from a bigger city that you notice that you have to go drive 30 minutes, 40 minutes somewhere different for an event over here, event over there, it's all here. So if you're looking for that.
In the center of it, I guess it lends itself well to the events because we call them the sales. There's these big coverings, like a tent, and we'll show footage of it. You'll see it. But underneath that is a whole bunch of rocking chairs, which I think is really cool. And if you've ever flown into the Charlotte airport, you'll notice like we're the airport that has the rocking chairs. And I think to me, that kind of sends like a welcome home vibe. Like, hey, it's like a front porch. I feel like it's very neighborly and sweet that's kind of our airport claim to fame is rocking chairs. So lots of great places to eat. Tasteful Beans, we go there a lot. They have good breakfast, brunch, a lot of different options. Notions is in downtown Hickory. That's on that main square right there. Again, really good brunch. The station has good brunch. Downtown Hickory is like a brunching mecca.
there's a lot of places to brunch. A lot of places, they have some bars. They have they have a winery. They have, and again, these are all, like you said, walking distance.
Market on Main, which is called Duke's. Really good, really great place for events too.
Yeah, and then right around downtown Hickory, you have a lot of the residential area around it. The northwest part of Hickory. You also have some apartments that they just built some
55 and over.
55 and over is under construction, which is really nice. And apparently, apparently it's going to be like some really concierge program.
They're going to have
that they'll have there, like
an entertainer person, like a host.
A host
like
that
you'd have on a cruise ship.
On a cruise ship well, the person actually sets these events for people in this new development.
Sounds awesome.
That they plan out their weeks and maybe months ahead of time. They're going to have this person there. So that's going to be right across the street from where we're at. Our office is on the One North building, which is apartments right upstairs. That they're pretty nice apartments if you're looking to, get in the area and just kind of get a feel for it.
It's smart sometimes when you first move somewhere, like to rent for just a little bit to kind of get your bearings and figure out where you want to be. And just above us in our office is 100 and some renters doing just that.
Right.
So a lot of people are moving here, but also in our building, Kawasaki, a really up and coming like sushi place, which has really cool vibes and the lighting and the little drinks they make. Like it's a really fun vibe. Frothy Rooster. That's
right next to us.
Right next to us.
Yeah.
So lots of good dining. Now, as far as like homes, downtown Hickory, we're going to get into a section. I think we should separate out Northwest Hickory and Viewmont. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But downtown Hickory, you'll notice there's a lot of rentals, but there's also little historic pockets of really downtown, which is these old, just a type of character in these homes that you just couldn't just build today. Very historic.
Just a historical.
A big landmark in this side of town is the Oakwood Cemetery, and it's a cemetery, but it's basically, there's a little school right there, and then there's a cemetery, there's some businesses around it, but then there's a lot of historic homes, and Holy Trinity is another landmark in this side of town.
Just they have the Halloween.
Yes, so
big old Halloween.
We'll do a whole thing about Halloween.
Halloween, this is a very active area.
Yeah, there's some of these historic streets in downtown Hickory that are very much that historic vibe, like what you see in a Disney movie. I equated to Hocus Pocus, that vibe for Halloween. So anyway, as far as living, that's kind of what you're looking at. You're looking at renting, you're looking at, just a few blocks out of downtown Hickory. As with every town, I think you can get things that are maybe fixer-uppers, and then things that have already been fixed up, and they are nice. So you might get some historic homes that look brand new inside, and you may also be looking for an opportunity to invest somewhere, and that's where you would get a fixer-upper, because not everything has been retouched yet. And downtown Hickory is just part of that growth where there's new life coming into old spaces, which I think is something that Hickory is known for.
Yeah, the Northwest Hickory is what Sean would say. My buddy Sean would say, he calls it Mayor Quimby from The Simpsons. Mayor Quimby's house.
There's all the
Mayor Quimby houses are over in the Northwest Hickory area.
Very stately.
Yeah, that's what it reminds him of.
Very manicured, columns.
So that's around that area, but again, it's a nucleus where all the events are going down. The bottom line, everything happens there. Go to one place, get a lowdown on what's going to go happen month to month, and not to mention it's not far from the main highway, and hospitals, other stores, other convenience stores are located near. They're all there.
Yeah, Science Center.
The Science Center is not far from that.
Hickory Museum of Art. So lots of stuff in that little quadrant. If you do an overhead view and you look down, there's
that performing arts.
Yeah, it's all right there.
Yeah.
The salt block, which we could do a whole video on the salt block. It's very cool. So anyhow, downtown Hickory, if you're thinking of moving to Hickory, consider that area if that is the type of lifestyle that you want.
Hey guys, welcome to Living in North Carolina channel. This channel is your ultimate guide to the authentic North Carolina experience. We cover everything from daily life to all the fun stuff in between.
So if you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and give that like button a tap. It helps others find our channel more easily.
Bing, bing.
So while you're at it, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you're always in the loop when we drop new videos.
We're Adriano, and this is Katie, and we're real estate agents right here in North Carolina. We absolutely love it when people contact us about their upcoming move to North Carolina, whether through text messages, a phone call, or a quick email. Reach out to us and we can help you every step of the way. You can even schedule an appointment on our calendar using the link below.
So no matter how you choose to get in touch, know that we've got your back when it comes to making the move to North Carolina. All right, guys, so moving right along on places you may want to consider if you're moving to Hickory. We're going to travel a little bit further up 127 to what we refer to as Northwest Hickory. It's also called Viewmont. So those terms are used interchangeably by locals. What you're getting closer to is Lake Hickory. I would consider past Fry Hospital as you're going up 127. We'll kind of focus on that.
Yeah, I'd consider past Fry Hospital. Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
Up 127.
Yeah. So what you find up there as far as living options, your price point goes up a little bit because you're getting closer to water. That's pretty normal. The city taxes, obviously you're in city limits as you're heading up that way up until you cross over the bridge, which then you're out of city limits. So we're going to talk about that north side of Hickory that takes you right up to the water's edge. You're going to have a lot of older communities that are not like super, super old, but they're established communities where people have stayed in their homes. They don't move very often. I'm thinking like Sunset Hills, neighborhoods like that, Morse Ferry, waterfront communities, Governor's Harbor. There's a lot of homes in that area that may stretch your budget a little bit more. Is that fair to say?
I would say that's a pretty good assessment of what's out there. Yeah. Such as the pocket a little bit in terms of the type of homes that you find out there. Beautiful areas. I mean, when we were in there, my favorite part about these neighborhoods, if you're, you're moving in, you have your family, you're relocating, you're coming over here, great spot to like walk your dog. Yeah. To just go down the street, take your walks with the family, walk the dog. Yeah. Whatever it is, just bicycling. I mean, these neighborhoods are something I would say you would see out of the movies that you.
Yeah, very walkable.
Walkable and just the scene itself. I mean, it's pretty. And my favorite time is spring, summer. Summer. She likes the transition to the fall, and then the winter's a whole nother topic. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the winter.
So as far as communities up that way, because I'm thinking about if you're moving here and you're thinking about different homes, Lawson's Creek, Falling Creek, there's a lot of evidence as you drive through that there has been growth here for quite some time, because some of these homes, these neighborhoods were, from the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s. And so they're moderately, new-ish homes. But the communities are now established, and people that bought them new are now selling them, and home values have really held their own in this area. So these are communities that are still very price accessible, I guess is a good word for it. Very family friendly. The schools are really good this side of town. There's a mosquito, so welcome to North Carolina.
That's what I'm checking. I keep looking.
We forgot to put up our little citronella and we're outside. So Lenore University is in this part of town.
It's a beautiful campus. Beautiful, private.
Yeah, private university.
School. Yeah,
great.
It's really pretty.
Football, the alumni are very loyal. They love LR. Hickory Christian Academy, so there's some private schools up that way. There's a lot of good schools in that side of town. I'm trying to think, as far as like things to eat, things to do, Backstreets is a pretty popular local spot. Boca, Fork, those are a couple. Fork. They have just like a nice dinner place, like a
we ate at Fork. Yeah, we ate at Fork. I think it's open right around lunch, dinner time, and they have like these really nice, very simple menu. You get your people. When I notice, if you're having an evening wine, having a salad, having a steak. I mean, that's kind of what I saw their menu was. Really nice, very quaint.
It's funny. There's a section of that side of town that we kind of jokingly call
the dentist.
The dental district.
The dentist triad.
There's a section, if you're familiar with the area and you're on 127, you have Chick-fil-A. Behind that, there's like half a dozen dentist offices, and they're all in the same block.
They're all together.
So
it was weird. I was like, what is this? This is like the dental triad. All the
dental district.
The dental district is all, like I said, right behind Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Because you'll notice, again, there's not very many major highways, which is good for people trying to get away.
Just goes right up the center.
Getting away from those cities that are just loaded with freeways and streets. There's on one side is 321 is your main ones that there's three that you're gonna in Hickory itself you're gonna be noticing. There's 320 Highway 321, Highway 127, which is pretty close to what we're talking about in this part of Northwest Hickory. And on 127, you're gonna find that all the banks, the grocery stores,
everything's there.
The gas stations, the CVS pharmacy, everything's located on 127. On these highways, everything is front loaded there, and you don't have to worry about trying to figure out if there's different parts of town you need to go to. It's all pretty centralized. You can find everything off the 127th Street, and then you get into your neighborhood, go home, and then the areas that we're talking about, which is nice. It's pretty close. I mean, it really is like 3 minutes away, 4 minutes away. to get to whatever store that you need to get to.
Yeah. And there's a lot of roads that connect 127 to Highway 70, and you'll be able to see these parallel streets that run through. McDonald Parkway and Tate Boulevard all connects Lenorine Boulevard. So wherever you're at, it's really quick to get where you're going. And I've also noticed there's been a lot of growth in the Northwest Hickory, where we have Publix coming in and putting up really nice grocery stores. You have Lowe's Foods, multiple Lowe's Foods, Lowe's Hardware, like just everything you could need is right there. So I think every city has a cyclical way of revamping, and Northwest Hickory, I think, has been the most recently reinvested in, is the right way to put it.
Right. Oh, and I forgot Highway 70. Highway 70 is a pretty important, and off Highway 70 from Northwest, I mean, it's probably like 10 minutes, and that's where your Best Buy, your Target is, your Burlington Coat Factory, your TJ Maxx.
Yeah, and that's more on the south side, a little bit of Hickory, which we're going to go over next.
Yeah. So I was just thinking of like accessibility, even from Northwest where you're at. It's all probably 10 minutes away. So it's really not that bad of like going to whatever you need. It's all there.
Yeah. And guys, I say this a lot, but just on the other side of that bridge, if you go with the very northwest point of Hickory and you cross that bridge and you find yourself in Taylorsville or Alexander County, no city taxes, and you're really close to everything, and that's where a lot of the growth is headed. So I had to throw that out there.
Crawdad Stadium, is that Northwest? Or is it near? It's near Northwest.
It's north, yeah.
It's on the other side of the 321. There's a baseball stadium. I think it's a minor league.
It's adorable, guy. I mean, it's not to make light of it. It's great and it's fun.
Near the Hickory Airport.
Very family friendly, right close to the Hickory Airport. Yeah, there's a little park beside of it. They do a lot of 4th of July fireworks, and it's just a really fun family thing to do. That's very common. I mean, in Hickory, you'll find there's a lot of fun things you can do as a family.
Yeah.
But yeah, Crawdad Stadium. That's
not that
kind
far.
of in that.
I would say from there.
It's a little further up on 321, but it's up there.
7 minutes away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all, like I said, I just look at navigation and it's all like clumped together. So it's really nice.
Yeah. So it had to make our list of places to consider. If you're thinking about moving to Hickory, you may want to consider the Viewmont Northwest Hickory side. So folks, if you're considering a move to Hickory, you may enjoy life on the water and water sports. Well, there's Lake Hickory, and that is the lake in Hickory. It has a lot of beautiful shoreline, some sides of which are kind of steep, some sides are a little more level. It is smaller than Lake Norman, but it is a very active lake, and I think more accessible, because Lake Norman is a bigger lake. But I have heard a lot of feedback from people who live on Lake Norman that have said that on high use weekends, like holiday weekends, you just about can't even take your boat out. Like, it's so congested, it's so overpacked. I feel like Hickory is still that little, it's like a smaller option that it's not so flooded with people.
It's not flooded, but it's getting there. I mean, we've seen people are starting to notice, like, oh man.
People love Lake Hickory, and it is highly trafficked.
It's
still manageable.
It's manageable, and certain holidays, people are starting to get a little bit more like, man, it's getting packed, and people are coming here from out of area and they're buying up. But that's what happens when you're most of the people that we've noticed that are looking to purchase lake property, or people retiring and they just want to get away.
Yeah, sometimes it's the second home.
Because
it's a price point that you can afford to be on water. And I mean, your dollar goes further here. Everybody does know that. But it's for people relocating here, they may sell something that is much smaller and on a tiny little lot. And then they move here and they're like, man, I can have like main channel views. What is that about? And that's usually Lake Hickory. Yeah. There's certain parts of the lake. If you're looking to purchase or looking just at properties in general, there's some areas that are like you're in a cove and then you don't have the better view of the lake. And some people get some properties that you have these phenomenal main channel views. Deep water. So your price point is affected by the water. It's affected by the water view, and how much deep water you have throughout the year. It's really cool for someone, like I said, if you're looking to retire and get out of a bigger city and you want something a little bit more quaint, a little bit more intimate, just something, a different setting. Yeah, and maybe you want to live near Lake Hickory. Obviously, we talked about northwest side of Hickory. That's where you're going to run into water. There's marinas too, like Lakeside Marina, River's Edge. Oh yeah, Marina. Yep. Riverside Marina. Yep. You can rent a boat if you just want to enjoy a day on the lake with your kids and you want to live nearby, go rent a boat, rent a pontoon for half a day or a day.
Or some people just have a boat at their home and they just drive it and tow it.
Tow it over there.
And then they just drop it in.
There's plenty of access points.
And there's access points, which is nice for people that just have a boat and they just want to drop it in too.
Yeah, but there are quite a few waterfront communities where sometimes you have a deeded boat slip if you don't necessarily want to live on water, but you want to be able to bring your boat in. Governor's Harbor, Morris Ferry, we can give a whole list of them, but there's plenty of ways to get on the water without necessarily living on the water.
Yeah.
So,
what was that camp that we took the girls last year?
Oh,
it was on Lake Hickory, and then
I think it was Lake Hickory.
Outdoor Adventure Camp. So there was an outdoor adventure camp.
It's in Conover. Conover. There's a portion of Conover that's on Lake Hickory.
Yeah, and it was a cool camp that you can take your kids
outdoors,
and they do like a whole week.
Yeah.
Of rope
adventure
rope courses, and then they go in the water.
Two out of three of our children enjoyed it.
Yeah.
One didn't like spiders.
So if you like if you like doing stuff like that with your kids and take them in the summertime on the water.
Yeah.
There's events. They have also come different parts of the year. I remember Christmas, they have like the
water parade.
Water parades. They like light up the little boats, they decorate them, and they put them on parade.
Memorial Day weekend, I heard that near the sandbar on Lake Hickory, they had like a glow party where everybody had on like glow sticks and blacklight. It looked like really cool. But so the sandbar, if you're not familiar, there's a portion of Lake Hickory where everybody pulls their boats up, and it's a sandbar. It gets a little shallow. So you can get out of your boat and kind of mingle. Some people like tether their boats together, and it's kind of like a lake party.
Yeah.
Good times. But that's up on, we'll have to put like a map up. That's a certain portion of the lake. Fishing tournaments.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That happens out here, so it's a little more crowded certain times of year for that. It's a good place to kayak in some of the little coves.
The kayaking, yeah.
There's a lot of little spots. There's different ways to enjoy the lake. Some of you guys may enjoy like water tubing and jet skiing and things like that. But if you are somebody who just wants to quietly like put a little paddle board in or put in like a kayak, there's a lot of little areas to explore. And those would be like those little coves where you can kind of go on a little adventure, and it's not like you have to worry about the wake from some boat knocking your kayak over. There's a lot of that too. So Lake Hickory has a lot of different ways to enjoy it. There's also a walking path on Lake Hickory. So very active, lots of hiking, bird watching, camping, things like that. So a lot of ways to enjoy water. But if you are wanting to be waterfront and you're moving to Hickory, it's going to be Lake Hickory.
Yeah, and just to let you know, because coming here, I didn't know this. I didn't know there's a lot of nuances to the lake. Duke Power is the energy company that provides power for
they own the lake.
They own the lake, so they have their dams. They also
the water
levels. And I didn't know anything about that. So throughout the year, they raise it and they lower it because their output for all the folks that they provide power to, which is mostly everybody. Duke Power provides energy to everywhere, mostly in this entire area of Hickory and every surrounding industry.
All right. So, and speaking of Duke Energy does control the water levels. But also, if you're thinking of living on Lake Hickory, just bear in mind, you have to get permission and permitting approved in order to have docks and boat slips and anything that goes off of your property line into the water. You got to get permission for that. So again, it's a whole process. It's manageable, but just be aware of it. You can't just go out there and throw that up. So they have certain rules about what you can put and not put, and then what you have there is then of course there, and so you can't always just expand it without getting permission. So it's a permitting process, and Duke Energy has their say in that.
Yeah. So just like I said, that's one of the nuances that you may want to know, that moving over and considering different type of lake property.
Life on the water.
Yep. That's just one of the things you just got to deal with. But other than that, it's pretty cool living on the water.
Yeah. It's a beautiful lake.
It's a beautiful lake, and really enjoy it. I mean, people seem to kick it off Memorial Day, right?
Very active.
To
Labor Day.
That's your time period. Everybody gets the boats ready, and they all, they definitely utilize the lake. And another cool thing, one thing that we notice is when the storms roll in, because summer storms are real. They are a real thing.
They'll come out of nowhere.
And they come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, at the lightning, everybody's got to get
everybody parks underneath the bridges. They put their boat under there.
So you got to clear
in their boat.
They clear the boat, or they just kind of go back to their dock and just get out of that, because that does happen a lot. So that kind of puts a damper, no pun intended, on people's day with their boating because of the summer storm. So
yeah.
Other
is
than
it
that,
the Copper Penny? Is that the restaurant that's on the lake now?
I think so.
Okay, there's a restaurant on the lake you can pull your boat up. It's called the Copper Penny.
Yeah.
But lots of growth, lots of development on Lake Hickory, people building. There's only so much shoreline, guys. So I feel like properties that are there, they just appreciate in value at a higher rate than stuff off the shoreline. So definitely consider it if you're thinking of a move to Hickory. You may want to be on Lake Hickory. So guys, to continue on our tour of places you may want to live in Hickory, let's bring it to the south side of Hickory. And I equate south to like Highway 70 and Catawba Valley Boulevard and the Valley Hills Mall. So there's a section of Hickory which I think maybe got more of the development years ago. And as everything is, it cycles back through. I believe that'll be getting a lot of love coming up. But back in the early 2000s, a big shopping center came in, and it was Best Buy and Target and Shoe Carnival, and we were all like super excited to be getting all these new stores.
Oh yeah, that whole area. Yeah,
so that's Catawba Valley Boulevard. It connects Robinson Road, Startown Road area. CVCC, the college, is right there. If you go down 70 far enough, you'll end up in Conover. So we're talking about that section of Hickory that is at the intersection of Lenore Boulevard. Lots of car dealerships, lots of businesses, but lots of neighborhoods too. Neighborhoods that you'd consider to be like what we call Startown and Mountain View. And if you go so far south and west, you end up in Vail, which is kind of the country, which is where I'm from.
Startown. I call it the town of no stars.
Town of no stars.
There's no stars on Startown, not one.
Says Hollywood over here from California.
There's no stars anywhere.
There's no stars here, but it's better. It's better here. So consider this an area that has all the amenities that you need, want, shopping. I mean, that's where the TJ Maxx is. So that's where you're going to find me. That's where the Home Goods is.
Home Goods, TJ Maxx.
Yes, all those stores. So the Target, if you need to get to Target.
Yeah, there's Target, Best Buy. There's a Kohl's. There's the Ulta Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
There is some Sephora outlet. The mall is right across the street. The Chuck E. Cheese.
Valley Hills Mall.
There's another
and
Chick-fil-A.
Across
CarMax.
There's Ross. There's Michael's.
Yeah, Michael's.
There's Petco. There's a Home Depot out there.
Hobby Lobby.
The Hobby Lobby.
Our favorite little place to go.
We love us some Hobby Lobby. So we're just telling you all about the shopping. Clearly that's what we do. But as far as neighborhoods, Mountain View is such a sweet area that gets requested very often because they have really good public schools. It feeds into Fred T. Ford, good schools, good folks out there. A little bit more spread out. These homes tend to not be stacked quite so tightly together.
Yep.
It becomes more rural. So you'll see more hayfields and cows and, more like mom and pop hardware stores versus like the big chains.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a quick story about Mountain View. I was out there looking at some properties, and I was used to there was no sidewalks. So that was kind of like there's no sidewalks. It's just, it's just street property, driveways. There's no sidewalks to park on the side. So
it isn't unusual to me, but I guess
it was unusual. It was unusual.
They're not everywhere here.
Yeah, they're not everywhere. But anyway, there was a nice man outside, and there was a nice man that was mowing his lawn, and he was doing some sort of tree cutting. So I asked him, hey, where do I park? And he's like, well, there's nowhere to park, but you can park in my driveway. And I thought that was kind of really neat. I said, sir, are you sure? Are you sure that I can park here? Like, I don't want to
block you in
because I want to be out doing some stuff out here, and I'm going to be probably an hour and a half. He said, no, just go ahead and park, and when it's okay, it's fine. And I gave him my information so he can call me in case he needed me to move. But the point being is that was my first experience in the Mountain View area, and people are really, really nice. So I got a really good impression about the kind of community that is there, that people look out for others, and they just gave up his driveway. And that's very, very unusual. When I first got here, I was like, whoa, wait, what? I just want to park on a sidewalk because I don't want to get towed.
Yeah, everybody waves at you. Everybody does.
All these neighborhoods, they all do that. So I thought it was kind of neat. And that's, like I said, if you're looking for something along those lines at a neighborhood that people take care of each other, and these are these type of neighborhoods that we're talking about that has all that to offer. But Mountain View was just very special because I just remembered that, and I was out there, and there's a lot of demand. That's why I was over there. So there's a lot of demand to live in Mountain View. And people ask me, you know, I want to live in the Mountain View area and would love to get something there. I totally get it. And I think there's parts of Mountain View that it's not in city limits.
The prices are not that bad.
It's not in city limits. Some parts of Mountain View.
Yeah, and he's right. So there's portions of Mountain View and south side of Hickory that's not in city limits. It may be helpful to you if you're looking at addresses when you're first moving here. If you see 28601, that's north, okay? 28602 is like the south side. So there's a lot of properties in the 28602 that are price per square foot cheaper than Northwest Hickory. So that's worth noting. If you're new here and you're looking at, well, Hickory's Hickory, but there's 2 different zip codes. Consider 01 up north a little bit and 02 is south a little bit, if that helps your vantage point a little bit. But yes, a little bit quieter, a little more spread out, a little bit more, less restrictions. You see a lot of people out here with animals and farms. And if you're in Mountain View, for example, it's still 127. It's just south 127. And 321 intersects with that. If you get on 321, you get anywhere. You can get right onto 40. That's why it's a really desirable spot, because you can still get to everything, but you don't feel like you're in the middle of everything. So that's why we lump South Hickory all together, because it's similar in how it's all laid out. Mm-hmm. So it had to make our list of different sections of Hickory that you may consider if you're planning a move out here. Yeah. All right, guys, so there you have it. If you are considering a move to Hickory, we hope this video is helpful to you as we broke down different areas that you may want to land in. If there's specific areas or neighborhoods that you want us to do a vlog or walk you through on location, we're happy to do that too. So comment below if you want to see specific parts of Hickory that we can dig into further. But hopefully this is a good overview for you. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you can be alerted of new content as it comes out. So hit that notification bell and make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.